So what's interesting about this is that trying to figure out what the Grammys are going to do, it's almost like throwing darts at a board. And I think their newest album was decent enough that am I going to argue if you give them a Grammy? I don't think so. I can argue with you. I disagree with you, but I understand. Look, everybody can talk all they want about how stupid the Grammys are, how shitty the Grammys are, how the Grammys don't know shit about shit and nobody cares. Everybody cares. At the end of the day, everybody cares because we all talk about it no matter what. So to pretend that the Grammys are irrelevant, it's a weird dichotomy because they're irrelevant, yet everybody talks about it while it's happening. No matter what you want to say about it, people care about the Grammys. In other news, in mainstream news, because I know we talk metal and sometimes metal doesn't go mainstream, but today it did. Not today, but last week. Or, yeah, earlier this week. No, I guess it was last week, technically. Spirit Box, Gojira, Metallica nominated for Metal Grammys, if anyone really cares. And it's funny, the speculation started between me and my metal friends and my kids who listen to metal and whatnot. I know we go through this old song and dance every year, but it's got to be done here, so here it is. The 2025 Grammy nomination list was made official, and once again, metal's barely represented. Though at least this time, some interesting songs were chosen for a potential award. Best Metal Performance. Unlike previous years where a fucking Iron Maiden cover got a nomination, this year's list of metal songs selected for the Best Metal Performance Award could be considered an exciting mix of old and new guard. I agree with that. And while I'm sure Metallica will win because the folks behind the Grammys don't know shit about shit, it's good to be at least able to say that some of these bands were nominated. The Grammys will be aired on CBS and Paramount Plus live Sunday, February 2nd from Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles. So, remember that in order to be eligible for the 2025 Grammys, applicable songs and albums need to have been released in the U.S. between September 16th, 2023 and August 30th, 2024. So almost a full calendar year from September to September, which explains why Metallica is even on this list. But enough about all that. Here's the actual list. Okay, so let's look at this. But first things first, let me just take a moment out here to please remind you to like and subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel and please like the video. It pushes us into the algorithm and it gets us going forward motion. I'm on the forward motion thing. It's on its way. We're picking up subscribers here and there, but I really want to set a goal. I just want to set a goal to get to, I don't know, let's say 10,000. I want to get to 10,000 subscribers by this time next year. So like a full year. Halloween 2025. I'm not asking for much. It's 10,000 people. So share this with your friends, will you? All right, back to the album. So Best Metal Performance, we got Gojira, which is, that's a cover. Mea Culpa, which is what they played at the Olympics. Judas Priest, Knocked Loose featuring Poppy, Suffocate, that's a dope song. Metallica, Screaming Suicide, it's a good song. And Cellar Door by Spirit Box. Now, here's what's interesting about this list. You have 2 old guard, 2 brand newbies, and a middling band, a band that's been around over a decade but is really just becoming one of the preeminent bands in the metal scene right now. So Gojira became huge probably like 5 to 7 years ago is when I would say they broke through, and now they are like amongst the Slipknots, Avenged Sevenfolds and whatnot. Judas Priest, which is as old guard as it gets, the oldest band on this list by far. Knocked Loose, which is as new as it gets on this list. Metallica, which is not as old as Judas Priest, but way, way older than everybody else on this list. And then the Spirit Box, which is a little older than Knocked Loose, but just becoming prominent now. Okay, their time has been the past year or two. So what's interesting about this is that trying to figure out what the Grammys are going to do is almost like, it's almost like throwing darts at a board, honestly, because I can make an argument for any one of these 5 and it would make perfect sense. So let's do that. Gojira on this list, out of all the bands on this list, is the most relevant old band. Metallica is relevant because they've been touring the world constantly and selling out constantly. So I'm hard pressed to say that Metallica is not relevant. However, their newest album didn't make any real noise, people didn't like it a whole hell of a lot. And those who did are pretty much told how fucking dumb they are. So, whereas with Gojira, the metal community embraces everything they do with open arms and a big fucking hug, right? So Gojira, to me, on this list, is the most relevant current old guard band. I don't want to say old guard. Like, they're like... It's almost like if you put this in a sports sense, right? Let's take like NFL quarterbacks. I'm trying to figure out how to break this down the best way. Let's take NFL quarterbacks. The best NFL quarterback in the league right now is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has played in multiple Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes has been around, I'm guessing he's on his 7th season now. I think he's on his 7th season. And he's been a star since, right? Aaron Rodgers plays for the Jets, and he's old as shit. And granted, he's not having a good year. But I'm talking about, like, before this season, Aaron Rodgers was considered great still. He was still considered great, but not as great as Patrick Mahomes, obviously, right? But he's still considered great. And then you got new guys like what's his name? Javon Daniels. Is that his name? In Washington. Or Bo Nix in Denver. Or, Trevor Lawrence has fallen off. Or C.J. Stroud. Perfect. C.J. Stroud's the best example because that guy's a star. C.J. Stroud in Houston. The Houston Texans quarterback. C.J. Stroud. If you have C.J. Stroud, who is physically as good, probably, as Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, but just hasn't had enough time to do it yet or to make his mark, but you can see the talent and you can see everybody's kind of gung-ho and excited about him, that would be where I would put Knocked Loose and Spirit Box. They're in the CJ Stroud, brand new rookie type of superstar, but a superstar all the same, right? Metallica would be the Aaron Rodgers, the old curmudgeon-y guy who's still great, still can do wonderful and fantastic things, but hasn't in a while. And that's kind of where Metallica is. You know, by the book or by the public, they haven't really put out a great album since the Black Album, most people would say. I liked 72 Seasons, but I also don't love it. So I can agree that it doesn't reach the level of the Black Album or anything before that, but it was okay and it's listenable. And then you got Gojira, who's the Patrick Mahomes of the group right now. They're winning titles. They're not doing anything terribly flashy to, you know, like Knocked Loose is all over the fucking place. Poppy is all over the fucking place. Spirit Box is all over the fucking place. So I can make an argument that Gojira deserves it just for throwing their glove on the field. They deserve to win an award, right? Judas Priest is Tom Brady, okay? Judas Priest is the retired guy, and their last album is arguably decent, but also splits the fan base because half the fan base thinks it's Drek, and the other half fucking loves it. But Judas Priest definitely goes in the Aaron Rodgers department, and I think their newest album was decent enough that I am I going to argue if you give them a Grammy? I don't think so. And I'm the same boat with Metallica. I wouldn't argue with you if you said 72 Seasons was the top metal album of the year. I can argue with you. I disagree with you, but I understand. Like, I totally get it. They're the most popular metal band ever. Metallica is the most popular metal band ever. There's no disputing that. There is no dispute of that. So I can see that. I can totally get it. Spirit Box and Knocked Loose would be popular picks. If the Grammys want to break into the current lexicon of pop culture, what they should do is give Knocked Loose this award or Spirit Box this award. Because that at the very least will make its way into relevant TikTok spheres with, I'm sure, Knocked Loose going, yay, we won a Grammy. And that'll show up in all of their shit because who doesn't celebrate a Grammy? I mean, look, everybody can talk all they want about how stupid the Grammys are, how shitty the Grammys are, how the Grammys don't know shit about shit and nobody cares. Everybody cares. At the end of the day, everybody cares because we all talk about it no matter what. Taylor Swift won 172 Grammys last night. Wow, that's a story. And when someone doesn't win a Grammy, it's an even bigger story. So to pretend that the Grammys are irrelevant is weird. It's a weird dichotomy because they're irrelevant, yet everybody talks about it while it's happening. Now, maybe it's irrelevant on a level that nobody aspires to win Grammys. So maybe that's where the irrelevancy comes in. But, okay, they just don't want to admit it because it's a stupid organization, just like the Oscars, same shit. Same shit. There's no rhyme or reason to the stuff that they pick. They just do. It's completely arbitrary, and I think that's why people think it's stupid. So what else do we got here? Bloody feet. I don't want to see bloody feet. Why can't I read this? Hello? Hello? Can I get rid of this shit, please? So, okay. So then they go on to talk about, see what I mean about this list. Why? Oh my God. Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to refresh. Hopefully that won't be there. Okay. So going on in the article, see what I mean by this list being interesting. Knock Loose with Poppy, Spirit Box. That song Gojira played at the Olympics? Not bad. Right. Hell, even the Judas Priest song is good. Agreed. But I can't help but feel that there are so many more deserving bands to get this kind of recognition than bands like Priest or Metallica, who have already received their flowers for decades now. Let some younger talented bands in the spotlight for fucking once. So I low-key agree with that. I actually agree with that. I don't know why Metallica and or Judas Priest need to even be mentioned anymore. Their fan base and their relevancy in the world is very well established. So they don't need a Grammy. But again, it goes back to the arbitrary nature of the Grammys. Does anybody really need a Grammy win? I mean, maybe. It would be interesting to hear, like, I don't know, a band like 68 or, who else put out albums this year? Protest the Hero, they didn't put out an album this year, but any other bands, Periphery put out an album, any number of these bands, Better Lovers or something like that, just which are making noise in the metal community, but not really getting mainstream noise, let's say. So best rock album, let's take a look at this. See, like, why is the Rolling Stones on this list? Seriously, Rolling Stones. So we got Black Crowes, Happiness Bastards, which I did not enjoy. I know people who like this album. I did not. Fontaine's DC, I don't even know. I don't know who that is. Idols, I know that's decent. Green Day Saviors, I didn't like that. Pearl Jam, I don't like any of their stuff recently. Rolling Stones Hackney Diamonds, which I didn't actually hate. I actually didn't hate that album. I thought it was okay. And Jack White with No Name. Jack White's cool, and I gotta be honest, he's huge. Jack White is huge, and he's a legend. But like, I didn't hear a whole lot about that album, so I don't know. And then best rock song, best rock performance. I mean, the metal thing is the only thing I'm really interested in. I don't really care about. See, I don't care about the Grammys personally, but I think it's interesting. I think this list is interesting. I'm curious to see who they pick. The easiest one to pick here is Metallica. Like, that's easy. That's a slam dunk. If you want to have no arguments with anybody, you pick Metallica. You pick any of these other four. I'm sorry. I think Gojira is an easy one too, especially considering the Olympics happened and they played it there and they were featured in the Olympics. I think that's a safe bet too. I think Gojira and Metallica are the safe bets. I think any one of these other three would be kind of an upset or kind of surprising, at least. So. Yep, there's that.